The Amber Room, Russia's Lost Treasure of Light. Welcome, dear listeners, to the first chapter of our series, Top 10 Lost Treasures of the World. Tonight, we journey to a time when kings and queens adorned their palaces with wonders that seem to capture the very essence of the sun. This is the story of the Amber Room, a masterpiece of craftsmanship and beauty, created in the 18th century and lost during the chaos of World War II. So find a quiet corner, let your imagination take flight, and join me as we uncover the mystery of a treasure that vanished without a trace, a gift fit for kings. Our story begins in the early 18th century in the opulent courts of Europe, where kings vied to outdo each other with displays of wealth and artistry. In 1701, Frederick I of Prussia commissioned a room like no other, a chamber paneled entirely in amber, the fossilized resin that glows with a warm, golden light. Amber, often called the gold of the North, was prized for its beauty and rarity, and Frederick spared no expense. He enlisted the finest craftsmen, led by Gottfried Wolfram and Andreas Schluter, to create this marvel. The Amber Room was a symphony of light and color. Its walls were covered in intricate panels of amber, backed with gold leaf and mirrors to amplify the glow. Carvings of flowers, cherubs, and crowns adorned the surfaces, while semi-precious stones like jasper and onyx added to the splendor. When completed, the room was installed in the Charlottenburg Palace in Berlin, a dazzling display that left visitors in awe. But Frederick's reign was short, and upon his death in 1713, his son, Frederick William I, had little interest in such extravagance. He saw the room as a wasteful luxury and sought to dispose of it. Enter Peter the Great of Russia, a czar with a vision to modernize his empire and a fascination with Western art. In 1716, during a diplomatic visit to Prussia, Peter admired the Amber Room, and Frederick William saw an opportunity. He gifted the room to Peter as a symbol of alliance, in exchange for 55 tall soldiers for his guard. The panels were carefully dismantled, packed into 18 crates, and shipped to Russia. There, they were reassembled in the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg, where they became a symbol of the growing bond between Prussia and Russia. But the Amber Room's journey was far from over. In 1755, Tsarina Elizabeth, Peter's daughter, decided to move it to the Catherine Palace in Tsarskoye Selo, outside St. Petersburg. Under the direction of Italian architect Bartolomeo Rastrelli, the room was expanded and enhanced, covering over 590 square feet with more than 6 tons of amber. The result was breathtaking, a chamber that seemed to glow with an inner light, its walls alive with the warm hues of honey and gold. The Amber Room became known as the 8th wonder of the world, a treasure that dazzled all who beheld it. The room's golden age. For nearly 2 centuries, the Amber Room stood as a symbol of Russian opulence and power. It was a place where czars entertained foreign dignitaries, where the light of candles danced across its surfaces, creating an illusion of liquid gold. The room's beauty was legendary. Its amber panels said to have healing properties, capable of curing ailments and bringing good fortune. But the Amber Room was more than a display of wealth. It was a diplomatic tool, a gift that sealed alliances and showcased Russia's cultural sophistication. During the reign of Catherine the Great, the room reached its zenith. Catherine, a lover of art and enlightenment, added to its splendor, commissioning new panels and ensuring its preservation. The room became a focal point of the Catherine Palace, a place where history was made, where treaties were signed, romances blossomed, and the fate of nations was decided. But as the centuries passed, the room's fame grew, and with it, the seeds of its eventual disappearance. In the early 20th century, as Russia descended into revolution, the Amber Room's future hung in the balance. The Bolsheviks, who seized power in 1917, viewed the palace treasures as symbols of imperial excess, but the Rusuma was spared, preserved as a cultural heritage. During the 1920s and 1930s, it continued to draw visitors, its glow undimmed by the changing times. But the storm clouds of war were gathering, and the Amber Room's fate was about to take a dark turn. The theft and disappearance. In 1941, as Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union, the Catherine Palace fell into the path of the advancing army. Soviet curators, aware of the danger, attempted to dismantle the Amber Room, but the panels had become brittle with age and could not be removed without damage. In a desperate bid to protect it, they covered the walls with wallpaper and gauze, hoping to disguise the room as ordinary. But the Nazis were not fooled. Under the orders of Alfred Rosenberg, Hitler's minister for the occupied Eastern Territories, the room was dismantled in just 36 hours and packed into 27 crates. The Amber Room was transported to Königsberg, now Kaliningrad, where it was reassembled and displayed in the Königsberg Castle as a symbol of Aryan supremacy. For 3 years, it remained there, a trophy of war until the tide turned. As the Red Army advanced in 1944, the Nazis dismantled the room once more, packing it into crates and hiding it away. But what happened next is a mystery that has puzzled historians for decades. In April 1945, Königsberg fell to the Soviets after a brutal siege. The city was reduced to rubble, its castle destroyed by fire and bombardment. The Amber Room vanished without a trace. Was it destroyed in the flames, smuggled away by Nazi officials, or hidden in a secret bunker waiting to be found? The questions multiplied, turning the Amber Room into one of the greatest lost treasures of the 20th century. Theories and searches. The disappearance of the Amber Room has inspired countless theories and searches. Some believe it was destroyed in the bombing of Königsberg, its fragile panels shattered by the blasts. Others suggest it was hidden in a mine or bunker in the Ore Mountains, where Nazi treasures were stashed. In 1968, a German soldier claimed to have helped bury the crates in a lagoon near Kaliningrad, but searches yielded nothing. In the 1990s, fragments of the room surfaced in Germany, sold on the black market. One piece, a mosaic panel, was recovered in 1997, leading to hopes that the room survived. But the trail went cold. Some theories even suggest the Amber Room was aboard the Wilhelm Gustloff, a ship sunk by a Soviet submarine in 1945, taking its cargo to the bottom of the Baltic Sea. The Russian government has sponsored searches, but none have succeeded. In 1979, they began reconstructing the room using old photographs and surviving fragments. Completed in 2003 for the 300th anniversary of St. Petersburg, the new Amber Room is a stunning replica, but the original's fate remains a mystery. Is it lost forever or waiting to be found, a legacy of beauty and loss? The Amber Room's story is one of beauty, loss, and the enduring allure of mystery. It represents the pinnacle of 18th century craftsmanship, a gift that sealed alliances and dazzled all who beheld it. Its disappearance during World War II is a poignant reminder of the fragility of art in times of conflict. The room's legacy lives on in the replica, a testament to human creativity and the desire to preserve the past. But the mystery of its fate continues to captivate, inspiring books, films, and treasure hunters. Some believe it's hidden in a German salt mine, others in a Polish lake. The truth may never be known, but the search itself keeps the story alive. The Amber Room invites us to reflect on the transience of beauty and the power of history to endure. The Amber Room's enigma is a reminder that some treasures are meant to remain lost, their stories whispered on the wind, inviting us to dream of what might have been. The Lost Treasure of Lima, a curse of gold and glory. In the heart of colonial Peru, where the Andes meet the Pacific, the city of Lima stood as a beacon of Spanish power and wealth. But as the winds of independence swept across South America in the early 19th century, a desperate plan was hatched to safeguard the city's greatest treasures. Gold, jewels, and sacred artifacts from Lima's churches and cathedrals were gathered in secret, their value beyond measure. This hoard, known as the Treasure of Lima, was meant to be a temporary safeguard, but it became one of history's most enduring mysteries, a fortune lost to time, cursed by betrayal, and hunted by dreamers ever since. But what happened to this glittering bounty? Who hid it, and why has it never been found? As we continue our journey through the world's lost treasures, let us delve deeper into the enigma of the Treasure of Lima, a tale of greed, revolution, and the shadows that gold casts on the soul. The gathering storm of independence. Our story resumes in 1820, as the flames of revolution ignited across South America. Simón Bolívar, the great liberator, was marching southward, his armies sweeping through Colombia and Venezuela, their eyes set on Peru. The Spanish viceroy in Lima, Joaquín de la Pezuela, knew the city was vulnerable. Lama's churches and monasteries were repositories of immense wealth, gold altars, jeweled crosses, and sacred relics accumulated over centuries of colonial rule. Fearing that Bolívar's forces would seize these treasures, the viceroy devised a plan to hide them. The hoard was staggering. Over 200 chests filled with gold coins, silver ingots, candelabras, and gem-encrusted icons. Estimates place its value at $60 million in today's dollars, but some say it was far more. The viceroy entrusted the treasure to Captain William Thompson, an English sailor commanding the merchant ship Mary Dear. Thompson was to sail north to Mexico, where the treasure would be safe until the revolution subsided. But the sea has a way of tempting men's hearts, and Thompson's was no exception. As the Mary Dear set sail from Callao Harbor, laden with its glittering cargo, the crew's whispers grew louder. Gold has a voice of its own, seductive and insistent. What if they took it for themselves? The viceroy's guards, meant to protect the treasure, were outnumbered. In a mutiny born of greed, Thompson and his men slaughtered the guards and priests aboard, tossing their bodies into the shark-infested waters. The Mary Dear, now a pirate ship, sailed toward Cocos Island, a remote speck off Costa Rica's coast, where they planned to bury their ill-gotten gains. But fate has a cruel sense of humor. A Spanish warship spotted the Mary Dear and gave chase. To escape, Thompson buried the treasure on Cocos Island, marking the spot with cryptic clues known only to him and his crew. Captured and tried for piracy, the men were sentenced to hang, all except Thompson and his first mate, who bargained for their lives by promising to lead the Spanish to the treasure. But the island's dense jungle and treacherous terrain confounded the search. Thompson and his mate escaped into the wilderness, vanishing like ghosts. The treasure remained hidden, and the legend of the Lost Treasure of Lima was born, the curse of the Golden Hoard. From that moment, the treasure of Lima seemed cursed. Those who sought it met misfortune. Ships wrecked on jagged rocks, expeditions lost to disease, and searchers driven mad by the island's isolation. Cocos Island, with its coconut palms and hidden coves, became a magnet for treasure hunters. In 1844, a British captain named William Thompson, no relation to the pirate, claimed to have a map but died before finding it. In the 1930s, American millionaire August Gissler spent 19 years on the island, digging over 500 holes, but found only a few gold coins. The curse's origins? Some say it's the blood of the murdered priests, their spirits guarding the church's gold. Others believe it's the viceroy's dying vow to protect the treasure. Whatever the source, the curse has claimed lives. In 1952, a French expedition ended in tragedy when their leader died of a heart attack. In 1989, a Costa Rican team vanished, their fate unknown. These tales add to the treasure's allure, making Cocos Island a place where fortune and folly collide. But is the curse real or just a story to deter thieves? The island's dangers, sharks, venomous snakes, and sudden storms are peril enough. Yet the legend persists, a shadowy veil over the gold's glittering promise. Maps, myths, and modern hunts. The treasure of Lima has inspired countless maps, each more elaborate than the last. Thompson's original clues, said to include a coconut tree marked with a cross and a cave hidden behind a waterfall, have been redrawn and reinterpreted 1,000 times. In the 1920s, American author Washington Irving penned a story based on the legend, fueling the myth. Hollywood has immortalized it in films like The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, where gold's madness drives men to ruin. Modern technology has joined the hunt. In the 1990s, treasure hunter Robert Graff used metal detectors and ground-penetrating radar, but found nothing. In 2015, a team with drones and satellite imaging scoured the island, but the jungle's density thwarted their efforts. Costa Rica's government, protecting the island as a national park, restricts access, adding another layer of difficulty. Yet permits are granted, and the search continues. In 2020, a new expedition claimed to have found anomalies underground, but excavations were halted by environmental concerns. What if the treasure isn't on Cocos? Some believe Thompson moved it, hiding it in Panama or even Scotland. Others say it's cursed, doomed to remain lost. These theories keep the legend alive, a beacon for dreamers, a treasure's true worth. The treasure of Lima is more than gold. It's a symbol of lost fortune and human folly. Its value, estimated at over $200 million today, pales beside its historical significance. The hoard included sacred relics from Lima's cathedrals, items of cultural and religious importance. If found, it could rewrite Peru's colonial history, revealing details of the independence struggle. But the treasure's curse extends to its legacy. Cocos Island, now a protected park, suffers from illegal hunting and environmental damage caused by treasure seekers. The legend has also inspired conservation efforts, preserving the island's unique ecosystem. As we reflect on this enigma, we are left with questions. Is the treasure still there, waiting for the right seeker? Or has it been lost to time, a ghost of greed? The Lost Treasure of Lima invites us to ponder the true cost of wealth and the mysteries that lie just beyond our reach. The legend of the treasure of Lima endures, a tale of betrayal, curse, and the eternal allure of gold. It reminds us that some secrets are meant to stay buried, their stories whispered on the wind, inviting us to dream of what might be. Yamashita's Gold, the phantom treasure of the Pacific. In the shadows of World War II, as the Japanese Empire crumbled under the weight of Allied advances, a legend was born that would captivate treasure hunters for generations. This is the story of Yamashita's Gold, a vast hoard of looted treasures said to be hidden in the jungles and caves of the Philippines, guarded by traps, curses, and the ghosts of the past. Named after General Tomoyuki Yamashita, the Tiger of Malaya, this fabled fortune has sparked countless expeditions, inspired tales of greed and glory, and left a trail of unanswered questions in its wake. But what is the truth behind this elusive treasure? How did a war-torn empire amass such wealth? And why, after decades of searching, does it remain lost? Let us journey back to the final days of the Pacific War to uncover the enigma of a fortune that may never have existed or may be waiting just beyond our reach. The origins of the legend. Our tale begins in the early 1940s as Japan's imperial forces swept across Asia, conquering vast territories and looting their riches. From China to the Philippines, Japanese troops seized gold, jewels, and artifacts from banks and temples and private collections. This plunder, known as the Golden Lily Operation, was allegedly orchestrated by Prince Yasuhito Chichibu, brother of Emperor Hirohito. The treasures were shipped back to Japan or hidden in secret locations to fund the war effort, or some say, to enrich the imperial family. As the war turned against Japan in 1944, General Yamashita was sent to the Philippines to defend the islands. With defeat looming, the general is said to have overseen the burial of the looted gold in over 175 sites across the archipelago, caves, tunnels, and underground vaults booby-trapped with explosives and poison gas. The value? Estimates range from $200 billion to trillions in today's dollars. But Yamashita's involvement is shrouded in doubt. Was he the mastermind, or just a scapegoat for a larger conspiracy? The legend grew after his execution in 1946 for war crimes, with rumors that he took the locations to his grave. The post-war hunt begins. After Japan's surrender in 1945, Allied forces scoured the Philippines for hidden assets. General Douglas MacArthur's intelligence teams recovered some gold, but the bulk remained missing. The legend exploded in the 1970s when Filipino treasure hunter Rogelio Roxas claimed to have found a golden Buddha stuffed with diamonds in a tunnel near Baguio. Roxas said it was part of Yamashita's hoard, but his discovery led to tragedy. President Ferdinand Marcos allegedly seized the treasure, and Roxas was tortured and imprisoned. Roxas sued Marcos in 1988, winning a $22 billion judgment, but Marcos fled, and the case dragged on. Roxas died in 1993, but his story fueled the myth. Was the Golden Buddha real, or a clever fabrication? In the 1980s, Japanese veterans returned to the Philippines, some claiming to know burial sites. One, Major Kojima, led searches but found nothing. Rumors swirled of maps hidden in Yamashita's sword or encoded in war diaries. But each expedition ended in failure, with searchers facing landslides, booby traps, and local resistance. The Philippine government banned unauthorized digs, but illegal hunting continues, often with deadly consequences. In 2015, a tunnel collapse killed several diggers near General Santos City. What dangers lurk in these hidden sites? Are they protected by more than just time? Theories and conspiracies. The mystery of Yamashita's gold has spawned countless theories. Some believe the treasure was never hidden but smuggled to Japan or Switzerland by high ranking officials. Others say the CIA recovered it during the Cold War to fund anti communist operations, a claim echoed in lawsuits against the U.S. government. Ferdinand Marcos himself was accused of finding parts of the hoard, using it to amass his family's wealth. His wife Imelda once quipped, "We practically own everything in the Philippines." But no proof emerged, and the Marcos fortune remains a separate enigma. A darker theory suggests the gold was cursed. Local legends speak of Yamashita spirits, ghosts of Japanese soldiers, guarding the sites, causing accidents and madness. In 1993, a Filipino court even ruled in favor of Roxas's family, awarding them $43 billion from the Marcos estate, but the money was never paid. The curse, some say, ensures the gold stays buried. Scientific searches have yielded little. In 2005, a team using ground-penetrating radar scanned sites in Mindanao, but found only natural formations. In 2018, a Japanese firm announced plans to use AI and drones, but results remain undisclosed. The Philippine government occasionally grants permits, but corruption and danger deter progress. Could the gold be a myth, inflated by wartime propaganda? Or is it out there, waiting for the right seeker? The human cost and enduring allure. The hunt for Yamashita's gold has claimed lives. In 1987, a cave-in killed 10 diggers in Nueva Ecija. In 2009, a family in Davao del Norte found gold bars but was murdered shortly after. These tragedies highlight the dark side of treasure hunting, greed that destroys lives and communities. The Philippines' poverty makes the legend irresistible, but it also breeds exploitation, with foreign companies and local warlords vying for a share. Despite the dangers, the allure persists. Books like Gold Warriors by Sterling and Peggy Seagrave claim the treasure funded post-war Japanese politics and even U.S. covert operations. Films and TV shows romanticize the hunt, turning it into a modern Indiana Jones adventure. But the real story is one of loss, lost lives, lost history, and perhaps a lost fortune. As we reflect on this enigma, we are left with questions. Is Yamashita's gold real or a ghost of war? If it exists, who will find it? And what will it reveal about the dark underbelly of World War II? The mystery of Yamashita's gold endures, a glittering shadow in the jungles of the Philippines, waiting to be uncovered, or perhaps to remain lost forever. The legend of Yamashita's gold is a reminder that some treasures are better left buried, their secrets guarded by the earth itself. It invites us to ponder the cost of greed and the power of myth, a tale that continues to draw us in with its promise of riches and its whisper of danger. The Ark of the Covenant, the sacred chest of divine secrets. Imagine a golden chest, adorned with cherubim whose wings stretch protectively over its lid, containing tablets inscribed with the very words of God. This is the Ark of the Covenant, a relic of profound mystery and power, said to have been crafted by the ancient Israelites under divine instruction. For centuries, it has captivated the imagination, inspiring tales of miracles, curses, and lost treasures. But what is the truth behind this sacred artifact? Where did it come from, and where did it go? And what secrets does it hold about the origins of monotheism and the history of the Jewish people? As we continue our journey through the top 10 lost treasures of the world, we delve into the enigma of the Ark of the Covenant, a story that blends faith, history, and the thrill of the unknown. The divine blueprint. Our tale begins in the wilderness of Sinai around 1446 BCE, during the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt. According to the book of Exodus in the Hebrew Bible, God gave Moses detailed instructions for building the ark while on Mount Sinai. The ark was to be a portable sanctuary, a physical manifestation of God's presence among his people. Crafted from acacia wood and overlaid with pure gold, it measured about 45 inches long, 27 inches wide, and 27 inches high. 2 cherubim of hammered gold faced each other on the lid, known as the mercy seat, where God was said to dwell. The ark was not just a container, it was a symbol of the covenant between God and the Israelites. Inside, it held the 10 Commandments, inscribed on stone tablets by the finger of God, as well as Aaron's rod and a jar of manna. These items represented God's law, miracles, and provision. The ark was carried by the Levites, using poles inserted through rings on its sides, never to be touched by human hands, lest the offender face divine wrath. But the ark was more than a relic. It was a source of power. During the conquest of Canaan, it parted the Jordan River and brought down the walls of Jericho. In battles, it struck fear into enemies and brought victory to the Israelites. Yet its power was double-edged. When the Philistines captured it, they suffered plagues until returning it. The ark's presence was both a blessing and a danger, a reminder of God's holiness and the peril of approaching it unworthily. The ark's journey through history. After the conquest of Canaan, the ark was housed in various locations, including Shiloh and Bethel. In the time of King David, around 100 BCE, it was brought to Jerusalem with great celebration. David danced before it, his joy a testament to its significance. But it was his son Solomon who built the first temple to house the ark in the Holy of Holies, a chamber so sacred that only the high priest could enter once a year. For centuries, the ark rested in the temple, a symbol of God's presence among his people. But in 586 BCE, disaster struck. The Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar II besieged Jerusalem, destroying the temple and carrying off its treasures. The Bible mentions the looting, but the ark is conspicuously absent from the list. Did the Babylonians take it, or was it hidden away before the fall? This is where the mystery deepens. Some believe the ark was destroyed or melted down for its gold. Others suggest it was hidden by the priests in a secret chamber beneath the Temple Mount, where it remains to this day. The Book of Maccabees mentions the prophet Jeremiah hiding the ark in a cave on Mount Nebo, sealing it away until God gathers his people again. In Ethiopia, the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion claims to house the ark, guarded by a single monk who never leaves the chapel. According to Ethiopian tradition, the ark was brought to Africa by Menelik I, the son of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, and has been protected ever since. These theories have inspired countless expeditions and speculations. In the 1980s, archaeologist Ron Wyatt claimed to have found the ark beneath the crucifixion site in Jerusalem, but his findings were dismissed as fraudulent. In 2012, a team of Israeli researchers used ground-penetrating radar on Mount Nebo, but no conclusive evidence was found. The ark's location, remains one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries, a puzzle that continues to intrigue scholars and believers alike. The power and peril of the Ark. The Ark of the Covenant was not just a symbol, it was a source of immense power. According to the Bible, it could part rivers, bring down walls, and strike down those who mishandled it. When the Philistines captured it, they placed it in their temple, only to find their god Dagon toppled and their people afflicted with plagues. When the Israelites retrieved it, those who looked inside were struck dead. The ark's power was both a blessing and a curse, a reminder of God's holiness and the danger of approaching it unworthily. This power has led to speculation about the ark's true nature. Some believe it was an electrical device, with the gold-covered wood acting as a capacitor capable of storing a lethal charge. Others suggest it contained radioactive material, explaining the plagues and deaths. These theories, while speculative, add to the ark's mystique, turning it from a religious relic into a potential ancient weapon or technology. The ark in popular culture. The ark's mystery has inspired countless works of art, literature, and film. In Steven Spielberg's Raiders of the Lost Ark, it is portrayed as a weapon of divine power, capable of melting faces and summoning angels. Books like Graham Hancock's The Sign and the Seal explore its possible location in Ethiopia, blending history and adventure. These portrayals keep the mystery alive, fueling interest and speculation. But the ark's significance goes beyond entertainment. For Jews, it is a symbol of their covenant with God, a reminder of their history and faith. For Christians, it prefigures the new covenant in Christ. And for scholars, it is a tantalizing puzzle, a piece of history that may hold the key to understanding the origins of monotheism. A mystery that endures. The Ark of the Covenant is more than a lost artifact. It is a symbol of faith, power, and the unknown. Its story is a journey through history, from the wilderness of Sinai to the courts of kings, from destruction to disappearance. Whether hidden in a cave, guarded in Ethiopia, or lost forever, the Ark continues to captivate us, a reminder that some mysteries are not meant to be solved. As we reflect on this ancient enigma, we are left with questions that echo through time. What if the Ark is found? What power might it hold? And what would it reveal about our past? The Ark of the Covenant invites us to keep searching, to keep believing, and to keep wondering about the mysteries that lie just beyond our reach. The treasure of the Knights Templar, the lost fortune of the holy warriors. Imagine a secret society of warrior monks, clad in white mantles, emblazoned with a red cross, sworn to protect pilgrims and defend the Holy Land. This is the world of the Knights Templar, a medieval order that rose to unprecedented power and wealth during the Crusades, only to fall in a blaze of betrayal and persecution. Their name evokes images of hidden treasures, ancient relics, and mysteries that have endured for centuries. But what was the true source of their wealth? Where did their legendary treasure disappear to? And could it still be out there, waiting to be found? As we continue our journey through the top 10 lost treasures of the world, we delve into the enigma of the Knights Templar's fortune, a tale of faith, fortune, and forgotten secrets that will leave you questioning what lies buried beneath the sands of time, the rise of the holy warriors. Our story begins in 1095, when Pope Urban II called for the First Crusade, rallying Christian knights to reclaim Jerusalem from Muslim control. Among those who answered the call were 9 French knights led by Hugues de Payens. In 1119, they founded the Order of the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, the Knights Templar. Sworn to poverty, chastity, and obedience, they vowed to protect pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. The Templars established their headquarters on Jerusalem's Temple Mount, believed to be the site of Solomon's Temple. This location not only gave them their name, but also sparked rumors of hidden treasures. Some believe they excavated beneath the mount, uncovering relics like the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. Whether true or not, their strategic position and martial prowess quickly earned them favor. In 1129, at the Council of Troyes, the Templars received official papal endorsement, allowing them to accept donations and own land. This was the key to their wealth. Nobles bequeathed estates, pilgrims gave alms, and kings granted privileges. The Templars became bankers to Europe, lending money to monarchs and safeguarding deposits for travelers. Their network of commanderies across Europe and the Middle East facilitated secure financial transactions, making them the world's first multinational corporation. By the 13th century, the Templars were immensely rich, owning vast lands, castles, and even entire islands like Cyprus. Their fleet rivaled Venice's, and their economic power made them indispensable to kings and popes. But with wealth came envy and suspicion. Whispers spread of secret rituals and hidden knowledge. What were they protecting in their fortified temples, and how did they amass such fortune so quickly? The Templars' secret knowledge. The Templars' wealth was matched by their mystique. As guardians of the Holy Land, they were exposed to Eastern knowledge, Islamic mathematics, medicine, and architecture that they brought back to Europe. Some believe they discovered ancient texts or artifacts during their excavations under the Temple Mount, including esoteric knowledge from the time of Solomon. Legends speak of the Templars possessing the Holy Grail, the cup used by Jesus at the Last Supper, or the Ark of the Covenant, relics that could grant immense power. Their military might was legendary. The Templars developed advanced banking systems, using letters of credit that allowed pilgrims to travel without carrying gold, reducing the risk of robbery. This innovation made them indispensable, but also vulnerable. Kings like Philip IV of France borrowed heavily from them, accruing debts they could not repay. The Templars' independence from local laws, answering only to the Pope, bred resentment. By the early 14th century, the Crusades had failed and Jerusalem was lost. The Templars' purpose seemed obsolete, but their wealth remained. This set the stage for their downfall, a conspiracy that would scatter their treasures and fuel legends for centuries. The fall and the hunt for treasure. In 1307, on Friday the 13th, a date forever associated with bad luck, King Philip IV of France ordered the arrest of all Templars in his realm. Accused of heresy, idolatry, and immoral practices, they were tortured into confessions. Pope Clement XIII, under Philip's pressure, disbanded the order in 1312. Grand Master Jacques de Molay was burned at the stake in 1314, cursing Philip and Clement to die within the year, a curse that seemingly came true. The Templars' assets were seized, but much of their wealth vanished. Legends say they hid their treasures before the arrests. Some believe they smuggled it to Scotland, where Robert the Bruce welcomed them, aiding his victory at Bannockburn. Rosslyn Chapel, with its cryptic carvings, is said to hide Templar secrets, perhaps even the Holy Grail. Others point to Oak Island in Nova Scotia, where mysterious pits and booby traps suggest a hidden vault. Theories link it to Templar fleets sailing west, escaping persecution. In Portugal, the Templars reformed as the Order of Christ, funding explorations like Vasco da Gama's, perhaps using hidden wealth. These tales have inspired treasure hunters for centuries. In the 19th century, expeditions to Oak Island dug deep, but found only traps and artifacts. Modern searches use sonar and drills, but the treasure remains elusive. Is it real, or a myth born of desperation? A legacy of mystery and power. The Templars' story is one of rise and fall, faith and fortune. Their treasure, whether gold or knowledge, symbolizes lost power. It has inspired novels like The Da Vinci Code and TV shows like The Curse of Oak Island, keeping the legend alive. But the true treasure may be the Templars' ideals: chivalry, protection of the weak, and pursuit of knowledge. Their banking innovations laid the groundwork for modern finance, and their architectural secrets influenced Gothic cathedrals. The mystery of their treasure reminds us that history is full of hidden truths, waiting for those bold enough to seek them. The treasure of the Knights Templar invites us to reflect on the nature of power and the cost of ambition. It challenges us to question what is truly valuable: gold and gems, or the ideals we hold dear. And as we ponder this enigma, we are left with a sense of wonder at the mysteries that still lie hidden in the shadows of history. The menorah from the Second Temple, the lost lamp of Jerusalem. Imagine a golden lampstand, its 7 branches adorned with almond blossoms and cups, casting a warm glow over the holy sanctuary of Jerusalem. This is the menorah, the sacred lamp of the Second Temple, a symbol of divine light and Jewish faith. Crafted from a single piece of pure gold, it burned continuously, a beacon of God's presence among his people. But in 70 CE, when Roman legions sacked Jerusalem, the menorah vanished, its fate one of history's greatest enigmas. What became of this holy relic? Was it melted down, hidden away, or spirited to a distant land? And why does its disappearance continue to captivate scholars, treasure hunters, and believers alike? As we continue our journey through the top 10 lost treasures of the world, we delve into the mystery of the menorah, a tale of faith, conquest, and the enduring quest for a symbol of divine light. A symbol forged in faith. And the story of the menorah begins in the wilderness of Sinai around 1446 BCE, during the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt. According to the book of Exodus, God gave Moses detailed instructions for building the tabernacle, a portable sanctuary that would house the Ark of the Covenant and other sacred objects. Among these was the menorah, a lampstand made from a talent of pure gold, about 75 pounds, hammered into shape by skilled craftsmen. Its 7 branches represented the 7 days of creation, and its light symbolized the divine wisdom that illuminates the world. The menorah was placed in the holy place of the tabernacle, opposite the table of showbread, where it burned continuously, fueled by pure olive oil. It accompanied the Israelites through their wanderings in the desert, a constant reminder of God's presence and guidance. When King Solomon built the first temple in Jerusalem around 950 BCE, the menorah found a permanent home in the holy place, where it shone as a symbol of Israel's covenant with God. But the menorah's journey was far from over. In 586 BCE, the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar II besieged Jerusalem, destroying the temple and carrying off its treasures, including the menorah. The Israelites were exiled to Babylon, where they mourned their lost sanctuary. But in 539 BCE, Cyrus the Great of Persia conquered Babylon and allowed the Jews to return to Jerusalem and rebuild their temple. The menorah was restored, or perhaps a new one was crafted, and the Second Temple was dedicated in 516 BCE. For centuries, the menorah burned in the Second Temple, a symbol of Jewish resilience and faith. During the Maccabean Revolt in 167 BCE, when the Syrian king Antiochus IV desecrated the temple, the menorah was extinguished, but the Maccabees, led by Judah Maccabee, reclaimed the temple in 164 BCE, relighting the menorah with a single vial of oil that miraculously burned for 8 days. This event is celebrated today as Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, the Roman conquest, and the loss. The menorah's fate took a dramatic turn in the 1st century CE during the time of the Roman Empire. In 66 CE, the Jews of Judea rebelled against Roman rule, igniting the First Jewish-Roman War. For 4 years, the rebels held out against the might of Rome, but in 70 CE, the Roman general Titus, son of Emperor Vespasian, laid siege to Jerusalem. The city fell after a brutal assault, and the Second Temple was destroyed, its walls torn down, its treasures looted. Among the spoils was the menorah, carried off by Titus's legions as a prize of war. The Roman historian Josephus, who witnessed the events, described the temple's destruction in vivid detail, lamenting the loss of its sacred artifacts. The menorah was paraded through the streets of Rome in Titus's triumphal procession, a humiliating symbol of Rome's victory over the Jews. This scene is immortalized on the Arch of Titus, a monument in Rome that depicts the menorah being carried by Roman soldiers, its branches laden with lamps. But what happened to the menorah after the triumph? The historical record falls silent. Some believe it was melted down for its gold, a practical fate for a conquered relic. Others suggest it was stored in the Temple of Peace in Rome, where it remained until the city was sacked by the Vandals in 455 CE. According to this theory, the menorah was taken to Carthage, then to Constantinople, and finally to Jerusalem, where it was lost during the Persian conquest in 614 CE. A more intriguing legend claims that the menorah was hidden by the Vatican, stored in secret vaults beneath St. Peter's Basilica. This theory has fueled speculation for centuries, with some even suggesting that the Catholic Church possesses the relic but keeps it hidden to avoid religious conflict. In 2003, Israeli President Moshe Katsav formally requested its return from Pope John Paul II, but the Vatican denied possession. Is the menorah truly in the Vatican's vaults, or is this just another layer of the mystery? Theories and speculations. The disappearance of the menorah has given rise to countless theories and legends. One popular belief is that it was hidden by the Knights Templar during the Crusades. According to this theory, the Templars discovered the menorah beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem and spirited it away to Europe, where it remains hidden in a secret location. This idea has inspired books, films, and treasure hunts, but there is little evidence to support it. Another theory places the menorah in Ethiopia, where it is said to be guarded in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Axum. This legend ties into the Ethiopian claim that they possess the Ark of the Covenant, suggesting that the menorah was taken there along with other temple treasures. but like so many theories, it lacks concrete proof. In recent years, archaeological expeditions have searched for the menorah in Rome, Jerusalem, and beyond. In 2017, a team of Israeli archaeologists used ground penetrating radar to scan beneath the Temple Mount, but their findings were inconclusive. In 2020, a diver claimed to have found a menorah like object in the Tiber River in Rome, but it turned out to be a modern replica. These false leads only add to the frustration and the fascination of the search. But the mystery of the menorah goes beyond its location. If found, what would it reveal? Would it confirm the biblical accounts or challenge them? And what power does it hold? In Jewish tradition, the menorah symbolizes divine wisdom and the light of God. Its recovery would be a momentous event, perhaps even a sign of the Messianic age, a legacy of light and loss. The menorah's disappearance is a profound loss, not just for the Jewish people, but for the world. It represents the destruction of the temple and the exile that followed, a symbol of faith enduring through adversity. Today, replicas of the menorah stand in synagogues and museums, a reminder of what was lost. The Israeli government has even created a gold menorah based on ancient descriptions, ready to be placed in a future third temple. But the menorah's legacy is not just about loss, it is about hope. It has inspired artists, writers, and filmmakers from the Arch of Titus to Indiana Jones. Its story is a reminder that history is full of mysteries waiting to be solved, and that the past still has much to teach us. As we reflect on this ancient enigma, we are left with a sense of wonder at the power of symbols and the enduring quest for truth. The menorah may be lost, but its light continues to shine, illuminating the path for those who seek it. And perhaps, one day, it will be found, revealing its secrets to a world that has waited for so long. The Lost Fabergé Eggs, Russia's imperial enigma. Imagine a world where craftsmanship meets opulence, where each creation is a masterpiece of gold, jewels, and intricate design. This is the story of the Fabergé eggs, the legendary treasures commissioned by the last czars of Russia for their families. Crafted by the House of Fabergé between 1885 and 1917, these 52 eggs were gifts of love and power, each one hiding a surprise, a miniature train, a yacht, or a blooming flower. But as the Russian Revolution swept away the Romanov dynasty, many of these eggs vanished, their fate one of history's most tantalizing mysteries. Where did they go? Were they destroyed, hidden, or scattered across the globe? And what secrets do the lost eggs hold about the final days of the Russian Empire? Let us journey back to a time of czars and revolutionaries to uncover the enigma of the lost Fabergé eggs, a gift from the Tsar. The story of the Fabergé eggs begins in 1885, when Tsar Alexander III commissioned Peter Carl Fabergé, the renowned jeweler, to create a special Easter gift for his wife, Empress Maria Feodorovna. Easter was the most important holiday in the Russian Orthodox calendar, and the Tsar wanted something extraordinary. Fabergé delivered a white enamel egg that opened to reveal a golden yolk, inside which was a golden hen, and within the hen, a tiny diamond crown. The Empress was delighted, and a tradition was born. Each year, Fabergé would create a new egg, each more elaborate than the last, with surprises that delighted the imperial family. Alexander's son, Nicholas II, continued the tradition, commissioning 2 eggs each year, one for his mother and one for his wife, Alexandra. Fabergé's workshop, employing over 500 craftsmen, poured their artistry into these creations. The eggs were made from gold, platinum, and precious gems, often incorporating enamel work, guilloche patterns, and mechanical surprises. The imperial eggs became symbols of the Romanovs' wealth and power, but they were also personal tokens of love and family. But the eggs were more than just baubles, they were reflections of the era. The Trans-Siberian Railway egg of 1900s commemorated the completion of the railway with a miniature train inside. The Romanov Tercentenary egg of 1913 celebrated 300 years of Romanov rule, its surface etched with portraits of the czars. Each egg told a story, capturing the spirit of the time. Yet, as the 20th century dawned, the winds of change began to blow, and the Romanovs' world would soon crumble. The Revolution and the Fall. In 1917, the Russian Revolution erupted, toppling the Romanov dynasty and plunging the country into chaos. Tsar Nicholas II abdicated, and the imperial family was placed under house arrest. As the Bolsheviks consolidated power, they seized the family's possessions, including the Fabergé eggs. The eggs were scattered, some sold to fund the new regime, others hidden or lost in the turmoil. The Romanovs were executed in 1918, but their treasures lived on. The Bolsheviks, desperate for cash, sold many eggs to Western collectors. Armand Hammer, an American businessman, acquired several and brought them to the United States. Others found their way to European royalty and wealthy industrialists. But not all the eggs survived the revolution intact. Of the 52 imperial eggs, 46 are known to exist today, leaving 6 lost to history. These lost eggs have become the stuff of legend, their whereabouts a mystery that has intrigued treasure hunters and historians for over a century. One of the most famous lost eggs is the Necessaire egg of 1889, a jeweled case containing manicure tools, last seen in 1952. Another is the Royal Danish egg of 1903, crafted for the Tsar's mother, featuring portraits of her Danish relatives. These eggs, each a unique work of art, represent not just material wealth, but a piece of Imperial Russia's soul. But where did they go? Were they destroyed, hidden, or still waiting to be found? Theories and speculations. The disappearance of the Fabergé eggs has given rise to countless theories. Some believe they were smuggled out of Russia by White Russian forces during the Civil War, hidden in Europe or America. Others suggest they were buried in secret locations, their maps lost to time. One intriguing theory points to the Soviet Union's black market, where the eggs were sold to private collectors who keep them hidden to this day. The search for the lost eggs has led to dramatic discoveries. In 2012, the third imperial egg, missing since 1922, was found in a Midwest scrap metal dealer's possession who had bought it for $14,000, unaware of its value. It sold for $33 million, proving that the eggs can still emerge from obscurity. But the other 5 remain lost, their fate a tantalizing puzzle. Some speculate that the eggs were melted down for gold during the revolution's chaos. Others believe they lie in hidden vaults, perhaps in the Kremlin or Swiss banks. A persistent rumor claims that one egg is buried in the Ural Mountains, near the Romanovs' execution site. These theories keep the legend alive, drawing treasure hunters and historians alike. The allure of the eggs. The Fabergé eggs are more than lost treasures. They are windows into a vanished world. Each egg tells a story of love, power, and the fragility of empires. The craftsmanship is unparalleled, with techniques like guilloche enameling and rock crystal carving that still amaze jewelers today. The surprises inside, mechanical elephants, blooming flowers, showcase ingenuity and whimsy. The egg's value is astronomical. In 2007, the Rothschild egg sold for $18.5 million. If found, the lost eggs could fetch hundreds of millions. But their true worth is cultural, a link to Russia's imperial past. The search continues. In 2015, a Russian oligarch announced a $1 million reward for information on the lost eggs. Expeditions scour archives and attics, hoping for a breakthrough. But the eggs remain elusive, their locations as mysterious as the surprises they once held. As we reflect on this enigma, we are reminded that history is full of lost wonders, each with a story waiting to be told. The Lost Fabergé Eggs are a testament to the fragility of beauty and the enduring power of mystery. They invite us to dream of hidden treasures and to ponder the fates of those who once held them. And perhaps, one day, they will be found, revealing their secrets to a world that has waited so long. The Lost Fabergé Eggs are a reminder that some treasures are not meant to be found, but to inspire us with their absence. They whisper of a time when empires rose and fell, and the glitter of gold could not save them from the winds of change. The Crown Jewels of Ireland, a theft shrouded in scandal. Imagine a glittering set of jewels, symbols of power and prestige, vanishing without a trace from the heart of a fortified castle. This is the story of the Crown Jewels of Ireland, a collection of priceless gems stolen in 1907 from Dublin Castle, the seat of British rule in Ireland. Valued at over $40,000 at the time, millions in today's money, the jewels included the star and badge of the Order of St. Patrick, adorned with diamonds, emeralds, and rubies. But the theft was more than a loss of treasure. It was a scandal that rocked the British establishment, exposed corruption, and sparked rumors that continue to intrigue historians and treasure hunters to this day. How did such a daring heist occur in one of the most secure locations in Ireland? Who was behind it? And where are the jewels now, hidden, destroyed, or waiting to be found? Let us journey back to a time of political tension and intrigue to uncover the mystery of a theft that remains unsolved over a century later, a symbol of imperial power. The crown jewels of Ireland were not just ornaments, they were symbols of British authority in a land simmering with resentment. Created in 1831 for the Order of St. Patrick, Ireland's equivalent of the Order of the Garter in England, the jewels were worn by the Lord Lieutenant of Ireland during ceremonial occasions. The star was an 8-pointed badge encrusted with diamonds, while the badge featured a harp of Erin surrounded by a wreath of shamrocks, all in gold and enamel. Stored in the Bedford Tower of Dublin Castle, they were guarded by a complex system of locks and keys, accessible only to a select few. Dublin Castle, built in the 13th century, was the center of British administration in Ireland, a fortress of stone and power. The jewels were kept in a safe within the Office of Arms, under the watch of Sir Arthur Vickers, the Ulster King of Arms, a man responsible for heraldry and genealogy. Vickers was a respected figure, but his office was rife with gossip and intrigues. The castle was a hotbed of scandal, with rumors of lavish parties and loose morals among the staff. Little did Vickers know that this environment would lead to one of the greatest thefts in history. In the summer of 1907, as King Edward VII prepared for a state visit to Ireland, the jewels were to be polished and presented But on July 6th, just days before the king's arrival, Vickers discovered the safe open and the jewels gone. The theft was a national embarrassment, sparking a frenzy of speculation and investigation. Who could have pulled off such a bold crime? And why? The suspects and the scandal. The investigation into the theft was immediate and intense, but it quickly descended into farce. The Dublin Metropolitan Police and Scotland Yard were called in, but their efforts were hampered by political sensitivities. Vickers himself became a prime suspect. His carefree attitude toward security was well known. He often left the keys in his office, and the safe's combination was simple enough for anyone to guess. Rumors swirled that Vickers hosted wild parties where the jewels were passed around like toys. Another suspect was Francis Shackleton, Vickers' herald and brother of the famous explorer Ernest Shackleton. Francis was a flamboyant figure with a taste for luxury and a history of financial troubles. He had access to the safe and was known to have pawned items in the past. Then there was Captain Richard Gorges, a military officer and friend of Shackleton, rumored to be involved in a homosexual ring that included Vickers. In the conservative society of the time, such scandals were explosive, and the theft may have been an inside job to cover up indiscretions or settle debts. The investigation uncovered a web of intrigues. A week before the theft, the office cleaner found the safe open but thought nothing of it. Vickers dismissed it as a prank. Then, the collar of Vickers' dog was found inside the safe, another joke that hinted at a breach. But no arrests were made. The case was closed in 1913, with Vickers dismissed in disgrace. He spent his remaining years protesting his innocence, but the jewels were never recovered. Was it an inside job or a political plot to embarrass the British in Ireland? Theories and the elusive truth. The mystery of the crown jewels has given rise to countless theories. One popular idea is that the jewels were stolen by Irish nationalists as a blow against British rule. The timing, just before the king's visit, supports this, perhaps a symbolic act to humiliate the crown. Another theory points to a royal scandal. King Edward VII was known for his affairs, and some whisper the jewels were stolen to cover up an indiscretion involving a mistress or illegitimate child. The king's haste to hush the affair lends credence to this. A more sinister theory involves Arthur Vickers himself. Some believe he orchestrated the theft to pay off debts or as revenge against the establishment that never fully accepted him. Vickers' heraldic work was his passion, but his eccentricities made him enemies. After his dismissal, he became reclusive, dying in 1921 during the Irish Civil War, his home burned by Republicans who suspected him of spying. And then there's the theory of the jewels' survival. Some say they were smuggled to America, hidden in a bank vault or private collection. In 2007, a Dublin pub owner claimed to know their location, but it was a hoax. In 2015, an anonymous letter to the Irish Times hinted they were buried in Phoenix Park, but digs found nothing. These false leads keep the mystery alive, a tantalizing puzzle for detectives and historians. A legacy of intrigue and scandal. The theft of the crown jewels is more than a crime. It's a symbol of Ireland's turbulent history under British rule. The jewels represented colonial power, and their loss was a humiliating blow to the establishment. The scandal exposed corruption in Dublin Castle, contributing to the growing discontent that led to the Easter Rising in 1916 and Ireland's independence. Today, Replicas of the jewels are displayed in Dublin Castle, a reminder of what was lost. But the originals remain elusive, their fate a secret that time has yet to reveal. The story of the crown jewels invites us to ponder the nature of power, the allure of mystery, and the enduring quest for truth. It is a tale that continues to captivate, a reminder that some secrets are meant to endure, their truths hidden just beyond our reach. The mystery of the crown jewels of Ireland endures, a scandal that refuses to fade, inviting us to dream of hidden gems and forgotten fortunes. The treasure of the Copper Scroll, the hidden hoard of Qumran. Imagine a barren landscape where the sun beats down on cracked earth and the salty waters of the Dead Sea lap against the shores like a forgotten memory. This is Qumran, a place of profound mystery where in 1952 a team of archaeologists unearthed a scroll unlike any other, a scroll made not of parchment but of copper, etched with a list of treasures so vast it could rewrite history. This is the story of the Copper Scroll, one of the Dead Sea Scrolls, a relic that promises a fortune in gold and silver hidden across ancient Judea. But what is this treasure? Who hid it and why? And after more than 2,000 years, why has it never been found? Let us journey back to a time of turmoil and faith, to uncover the enigma of a scroll that has tantalized treasure hunters and scholars alike. A discovery amid the sands. Our tale begins in the late 1940s, when a Bedouin shepherd named Mohammed Dib stumbled upon a cave near the Dead Sea, uncovering jars filled with ancient scrolls. This chance discovery sparked one of the greatest archaeological finds of the 20th century, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Over the next decade, 11 caves yielded nearly 1,000 manuscripts, including biblical texts, hymns, and legal documents. But in 1952, in Cave 3, archaeologists found something extraordinary. 2 rolls of copper, oxidized to a green patina, etched with Hebrew script. Unlike the other scrolls, which were written on parchment, the copper scroll was inscribed on metal, a deliberate choice, perhaps to ensure its survival through the ages. When unrolled, it revealed a list of 64 locations where treasures were hidden, tons of gold and silver, sacred vessels, and priestly garments. The total value? Estimates range from billions to trillions in today's dollars. But the scroll was not just a treasure map, it was a puzzle. Its locations described in cryptic terms like in the cistern which is below the rampart, or in the mound of Coquelit. No specific landmarks, no clear directions, just riddles that have baffled experts for decades. The scroll's discovery sent shockwaves through the archaeological world. It was dated to around 68 CE, during the First Jewish-Roman War, when the Romans destroyed the Second Temple and scattered the Jewish people. Was the treasure the temple's wealth so hidden away to protect it from the invaders? Or was it the hoard of a secret sect, like the Essenes, who lived in Qumran and authored many of the Dead Sea Scrolls? The Copper Scroll stands apart from the others. It's not religious or philosophical, but practical, an inventory of hidden riches. This difference has led some to question its authenticity. Is it a real treasure map or an elaborate hoax? The mystery deepens as we explore its contents and the theories surrounding it. Decoding the scroll's riddles. The Copper Scroll is unique among the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's the only one made of metal, and its text is a list rather than a narrative. Unrolled, it measures 8 feet long, with 12 columns of text describing 64 hiding places. The treasures listed are staggering. 900 talents of gold, about 65 tons, to 200 talents of silver, and sacred items like incense spices and priestly garments. If real, this would be one of the largest lost treasures in history. But the locations are vague, using landmarks that no longer exist or have changed over time. For example, in the cistern at the bottom of the courtyard or under the eastern gate of the temple. Some sites are near Jerusalem, others in the Judean desert. This has led to countless expeditions, but none have succeeded. In the 1960s, archaeologist John Allegro led a search, digging at sites like the Kidron Valley, but found nothing. In 2007, a team using metal detectors explored Qumran, but again empty-handed. Why the vagueness? Some believe the scroll was written in code, its true meanings known only to a select few. Others think it's a fantasy, a symbolic text representing spiritual treasures rather than material ones. The scroll's language is Mishnaic Hebrew, with Greek letters at the end of some lines, perhaps abbreviations or clues. These details add layers to the puzzle, making the copper scroll a cipher that defies decoding. Theories of treasure and temple. The copper scroll's purpose is as mysterious as its contents. The most popular theory is that it's a record of the Second Temple's treasures, hidden during the Roman siege of Jerusalem in 70 CE. The temple was a repository of immense wealth, gold from donations, sacred vessels, and tithes from across the Jewish diaspora. As the Romans approached, priests may have spirited away the treasures, recording their locations on copper for durability. This theory is supported by historical accounts. Josephus, the Jewish historian, describes the temple's riches being looted by the Romans, but some may have been hidden beforehand. The copper scroll's locations align with areas around Jerusalem and Qumran, suggesting a desperate effort to preserve the temple's sanctity. But if so, why hasn't the treasure been recovered? Was it found long ago, or does it still lie waiting? Another theory links the scroll to the Essenes, the sect believed to have lived at Qumran. The Essenes were ascetic, rejecting material wealth, but perhaps they hid temple treasures to protect them from corruption. The scroll's secular tone, focusing on gold rather than scripture, contrasts with other Dead Sea Scrolls, suggesting it was written by a different group, perhaps priests fleeing Jerusalem. More speculative theories abound. Some believe the treasure is the lost wealth of King Solomon, hidden by the Essenes. Others link it to the Knights Templar, who allegedly found it during the Crusades and spirited it away to Europe. These ideas, while romantic, lack evidence, but they fuel the imagination. What if the treasure is real, lying beneath our feet, waiting for the right moment to be revealed? Expeditions and the elusive hunt. The Copper Scroll has inspired countless treasure hunts, each one a blend of hope and frustration. In the 1950s, American adventurer Vendell Jones led expeditions to Qumran, guided by the scroll's clues. He found a small vial of red powder, claimed to be temple incense, but no gold. In 1992, a team dug near the Kidron Valley, but came up empty. Modern technology has joined the hunt. In 2015, Israeli archaeologists used ground-penetrating radar at sites near Jerusalem, detecting anomalies but no definitive treasure. Political sensitivities complicate the search. The sites are in contested areas, and excavations risk damaging holy places. Yet the allure persists. In 2020, a documentary team explored Mount Gerizim, finding caves but no gold. The dangers are real. In 1988, a group searching near Qumran was caught in a flash flood, nearly losing their lives. Some believe the scroll is cursed, its treasures protected by divine will. These risks add to the mystery, making the hunt a test of faith as much as science, a legacy of faith and mystery. The Copper Scroll is more than a treasure map. It is a window into a time of crisis, when a people fought to preserve their sacred heritage. If the treasure is temple wealth, it represents the last hope of a nation facing destruction. If it's Essen, it reflects a sect's devotion to purity. Either way, it's a testament to faith's enduring power. The scroll's legacy is its mystery. It has inspired books like James Rollin's The Last Oracle and documentaries exploring its clues. It challenges us to question history and faith. What if the treasure is real, waiting for the Messiah's return, as some believe? Or what if it's a metaphor for spiritual riches? These questions keep the legend alive. As we reflect on this ancient enigma, we are left with a sense of wonder at the power of secrets and the enduring quest for truth. The Copper Scroll invites us to keep searching, to keep questioning, and to keep believing in the possibility of discovery. It is a tale that reminds us that history is full of hidden treasures, waiting for those brave enough to seek them out. The Peking Man Fossils, a lost link in human evolution. Imagine a cave hidden in the hills of northern China, where the bones of our ancient ancestors lay buried for hundreds of thousands of years, waiting to reveal the secrets of human evolution. This is the story of the Peking Man Fossils, a collection of Homo erectus remains that provided crucial evidence for our understanding of early human migration and development. Discovered in the 1920s near Beijing, these fossils offered a glimpse into a time when our forebears first mastered fire and tools. But in the chaos of World War II, they vanished, leaving behind one of history's most baffling mysteries. What happened to these priceless relics? Were they lost at sea, hidden by spies, or destroyed in the flames of war? And what might their rediscovery tell us about our shared human story? As we conclude our journey through the top 10 lost treasures of the world, let us delve into the enigma of the Peking Man Fossils, a tale of discovery, loss, and the enduring quest for our origins. Unearthed from the dragon's bones. Our story begins in the early 20th century, when Western scientists flocked to China in search of human origins. In 1921, Swedish geologist Johan Gunnar Andersson was exploring the Jokutian caves near Beijing, a site known locally as Dragon Bone Hill for the fossilized remains found there. Andersson, intrigued by local legends of dragon bones used in traditional medicine, began excavations. His team uncovered teeth and skull fragments that belonged to an unknown hominid species. The breakthrough came in 1927 when Canadian paleoanthropologist Davidson Black identified a tooth as belonging to a new species, which he named Sinanthropus pekinensis, Peking Man. Black's findings sparked excitement, and excavations intensified. Over the next decade, under the leadership of Chinese archaeologist Pei Wenzhong and French priest Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, the team unearthed over 200 fossils, including skulls, jaws, and limbs from at least 40 individuals. These remains dated back 500,000 to 700,000 years, providing evidence that Homo erectus had lived in Asia far longer than previously thought. The fossils revealed a creature that walked upright, used tools, and controlled fire, a key step in human evolution. They challenged the out of Africa theory, suggesting multiple centers of human development. But as the 1930s drew to a close, The world was on the brink of war, and the fossils' fate hung in the balance. It was the War and the Vanishing Act. In 1937, Japan invaded China, and the Jokudian site became too dangerous for excavation. The fossils were stored in Beijing's Union Medical College under American control. As war escalated, scientists feared Japanese forces would seize them. In 1941, as Pearl Harbor loomed, a decision was made to evacuate the fossils to the United States for safekeeping. The plan was simple: pack the fossils in 2 wooden crates, label them as scientific specimens, and ship them to the U.S. Embassy in Beijing. From there, they would be transported to the port of Qinhuangdao, loaded onto the SS President Harrison, and sailed to America. But in the chaos of war, things went awry. The crates were handed to U.S. Marines, who were to escort them to the ship. But Japanese troops captured the Marines, and the fossils disappeared. What happened next is a mystery. Some believe the crates were seized by Japanese soldiers and sent to Tokyo, where they were lost in the firebombing of 1945. Others speculate that they were hidden by Chinese nationalists or communists to prevent foreign theft. A more sinister theory suggests they were stolen by opportunistic looters during the confusion. In 1947, a New York businessman claimed to have the fossils and offered them for sale, but the deal fell through and they vanished again. Over the years, rumors have surfaced: sightings in Taiwan, boxes in a Swiss bank, but none have led to recovery. The loss was devastating. The Peking Man fossils were irreplaceable, a crucial link in the chain of human evolution. Casts and replicas exist, but the originals held potential for DNA analysis and further study. Their disappearance is a tragedy for science, a reminder of war's cost to knowledge, theories and speculations. Theories about the fossils' fate abound. One popular idea is that they sank with the SS President Harrison, torpedoed by Japanese submarines in 1941. But the ship was captured, not sunk, and searches of the wreck have yielded nothing. Another theory suggests they were hidden in Beijing, perhaps in a bank vault or embassy basement, and forgotten amid the war's chaos. In 1972, a woman claimed her late husband, a Marine, had brought a skull home, but it was a hoax. A more intriguing theory involves Japanese intelligence. Some believe the fossils were seized and sent to Japan for study, then lost in the atomic bombings. In 2001, a Japanese veteran confessed to burying boxes near Qinhuangdao, but digs found nothing. Political sensitivities complicate the search. China views the fossils as national treasures, while international teams face restrictions. But the greatest mystery is what the fossils could reveal if found. Modern DNA technology could shed light on Homo erectus's migration and relation to modern humans. They might confirm or challenge theories about human evolution in Asia. But until they resurface, we are left with casts and speculation, a gap in our understanding of the past, a legacy of loss and hope. The Peking Man fossils' disappearance is a poignant reminder of war's impact on science and culture. They represented a bridge to our ancient past, a link in the chain of human evolution. Their loss is irreplaceable, but it has inspired ongoing research at Jokudian, where new finds continue to emerge. The site is a UNESCO World Heritage Treasure, drawing visitors who marvel at the caves where our ancestors once lived. The mystery has also fueled popular culture, inspiring novels, documentaries, and theories about hidden treasures and lost knowledge. It reminds us that history is fragile, easily lost in the chaos of human conflict. but it also sparks hope. Perhaps the fossils are out there, waiting to be rediscovered, ready to reveal their secrets once more. As we reflect on this enigma, we are left with questions. Where are the Peking Man fossils now? What might they tell us about our origins if found? And how many other treasures lie lost to war and time? The mystery of the Peking Man endures, a reminder that the past is never truly gone. It is merely waiting to be uncovered. As we conclude our series on the top 10 lost treasures of the world, I want to thank you, dear listeners, for joining me on this journey through time and mystery. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of the mountains, we have explored the wonders that continue to captivate our imaginations. May these stories linger in your thoughts as you drift into sleep, and may your dreams be filled with the thrill of discovery. Good night and sweet dreams.